Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Force Friday. Hey guys, I have with me Diego, Mertunje, and Swenley. How you guys doing?
Hey,
Hello.
fine.
Hey,
That's my
for
favorite part right
welcoming.
there. just- I just like to watch you guys all say hello at the same time. So welcome everyone to today's Force Friday. Today we will be discussing critique, right? We're going to do a critique session. So this gives you guys an opportunity to send artwork into us, and we'll try to cover how force works related to what you sent in. There is a Dropbox account that we have that you guys can send work into throughout the month. For me, you'll see that on my Instagram account, and you'll also see it here in YouTube in the description to find that Dropbox account. And that will lead you there, and you can just drop your work in. I don't know if this is going to be once a month or not yet. That's kind of the cadence I'm shooting for right now. So over the weekend, I'll probably set up what the next three meetings are going to be for the next 3 weeks, and then we'll come back again and meet up for another critique session. Okay. We're going to try to cover as many people as we can today. I can't promise that everyone who sent something in will be, discussed, but we will do our best. Because there are so many of you that sent work in and so many pieces. And by the way, that's awesome. That's what we want. Let's get started, right? So I think Diego is starting today. I'm going to stop my
Yep,
share.
it's gonna be me.
It's all you.
So let's share the screen. How are you guys? I hope everyone's okay. I have a couple of drawings here, and I write this on the screen just to be aware of what we are looking for today: force, form, shape, anatomy. I'm gonna try to focus every critique on this different aspect, and if it's required, I'm gonna talk about them all, right? So let's start with this one. This one is from Carol Purcell. I think it's pronounced like that. So here are some references. Let me do that. And there we go. So we have no problems with protections and things from YouTube. Okay, so the big thing here, what I see is one thing that I fight a lot, and I love it, which is the line. And if you take a look at this drawing here, the line is going like everywhere. It's like strings of hair flowing in all of the page, and doesn't have a consistency or an idea, which is what we're looking for, to have an idea to communicate when we're drawing. So if we look at this pose, I'm going to draw here pretty small. So this is my suggestion for you, Carol. Just try to understand what's going on there before you jump into drawing like the full arm, closing shapes, and all that. Like we have an exercise that it's the gravity guide. And look, if I look at that pose, I'm gonna see like this angle. I hope everyone sees that. This angle, I hope everyone sees that. And we need to connect that. So we're gonna have something like this, which looks pretty simple to draw. Okay. Look, in your case, you did this, you did something here, some lines inside like that, something, you did an arrow here, which is good because, okay, everything's going there. But try not to lose this big concept. Okay, so once you have this, we have to put it on the ground. So we have the ground on there. So we have this leg that sometimes I tell the student, just go with a straight line and put it there for the sake of understanding what's going on. Okay, this other leg that comes like that. Okay, we have this arm here, this other arm here. We got the neck and the head, right? And even that. So look how simple this looks, but it's showing what the pose is doing. Okay, once you understand this, then you can go to being more like more accurate and start to finding like the fluidness or the force of this pose. So you can start going a little more like that with your lines, okay? And trying to like find things there, get into this whole leg, go front to back, start to thinking about the templates, okay? But be simple at the beginning. Don't try to complicate everything, like doing this. Try to be simple, okay? Just to understand the concepts. And well, in the other poses, it's kind of the same. So look at this. Here you completely lost it. You try an S. Here again, go with an S. But the case is this is a C pose, right? So once again, if you see here, we have almost the same kind of shape we use here, right? It's a little different, but it's kind of the same. So if you kind of pay attention to what you see here in the reference, you can do that. Even the legs, look how funny is this. This leg is kind of working the same way as this leg. Well, not this one. This will go outside, inside, outside. This will go front to back. But look, if you start simple and then you start to add things on top of that, you will find it much easier to work. In these other drawings, you went for a really hard reference. I think I know what reference is. You didn't attach it. So this is a suggestion for all of you who are sending drawings. If you have a reference, please attach the reference so we can give you a little more specific critique about your drawing, okay? I think I know this. This has a lot of foreshortening. We talk about foreshortening on previous sessions of Force Friday. But to me, and this is my advice to you, Carol, don't try to go to jump ahead of yourself and start drawing really hard reference with a lot of foreshortening, a lot of extreme perspective, because this is a kind of simple pose, and you try to solve these problems before creating more difficulties for you in getting like this arm coming towards us, working with shapes, big shapes, small shapes, overlaps, and all that stuff we talked about before, okay? So, well, I hope this helps you, and let's jump to the next submission so I can get them as many as I can. Okay, in this case, we have somebody, this is Stephanie Mendoza, somebody that it can draw, it can see what the model is doing. It's copying some of the anatomy, but the thing is, proportions are going out of whack. And the other thing, you're losing force here, right? And you're losing force because you're trying to draw what you see, but not understanding it. Okay, for example, let's go to this pose. First, I will go there, like to this shoulder here, this shoulder, right? And start thinking like where to go here, around, okay? And thinking about this leg, and also start thinking about where things connect, like crossing points. Look at here where you get the chin, look here where you get the chin, and here's the shoulder. So you can use these little things to create a more accurate drawing. Also negative space here, look here. And look what happened here. And look the distance here, and look the distance here. These are all tricks to be more accurate in proportions without the need to have like 8 head or 2 head or 6 head or how many heads you want, because we are all different. So there's no accurate measure. So once you have here, you can start connecting things, looking for the leg going down, this other leg coming down, see where the leg is coming from, this arm, forearm, this here's the hand, this other shoulder, this other hand. Look, she's getting to the knee. So you can have all those things to help you, to aid you through the process of drawing this figure, right? And of course, here's form is another, you can use form here because this arm is going backwards. Same thing with this arm. This forearm is coming forward. So this leg is coming forward. The same thing I said to Carol. Don't go to very difficult images, like everything is crossing and blocking and you cannot see anything because all of the volumes are connecting and blocking each other. So try to go with simple. I know it's cool to do this, but here's a good chance to use overlap. Like what is in front here? Where's the knee? Where's the knee aiming? Like we have like a wooden thing, like a block there to show where the knee is aiming. So use those things to show here again, the foot. You want to show like wrapping around, coming this way. You have the toe there. Show things and show overlaps to create form. Here the arm, look, there are two lines coming out of nowhere there. Try to connect. If you feel like here you come into the shoulder and connect to the other shoulder, try to connect those things to create a little more volumetric and with more depth drawing. Okay. Well, the same thing goes here. As I talked to Carol before, it doesn't look like it's from above. Okay, this you can see like this photo was taken from above. In your drawing, you kind of lose that, and it's because overlaps. You need to show what is on top. Also, you need to work on sizes, right? If you see this is really small. If I can move, I'm gonna move everything here for you to see. Look, that it's the size of the head. Okay, so try to keep those things in mind. But first, of course, understand the function of things. Like here, you're doing this and you're killing force. So in this case, you're going to come from the shoulder back to the arm, forearm, hand. Okay, find this force before going into finishing and closing shapes and adding fingers and all that. Okay, so I hope this helps once again, and let's keep going with the next one. Okay, here, Archie Eka. Okay, these are really nice slice drawings. It could use a little help on the line here. You can work with 1, 2, or 3 lines, but try to create those lines in the same direction, right? Try to be clear about that. I really like this leg. I would go a little more there, right? And back here, and use this, the top of the foot and the bottom of the foot, just to show really clear the forces in that leg. Okay, same here. You went from the back. It's never on the back. You will go here, back, and top of the foot, right? So creating those things helps a lot. Also here, you can use overlaps to show what happened here because it went flat. If I remove my line there, you see this is a shape super flat. That's nothing is telling me that we have a hip here, right? This triangle is really important. It's super, indicates a lot of things. Okay, so you also open this to this side. I don't know, I don't have the reference, so I will never know what that leg is doing or where it's going, if it's coming towards us or to the back of the page. So pay attention to that. This is a funny drawing, but the reference is not pretty cool because it's symmetrical, right? And you lose a lot of things. So if the reference is super symmetrical as this, you can create some, you can modify it a little bit just to give it a little more appeal, right, to the drawing. You can start adding just a little bit of turning to one side or the other. Also the neck, right? You can move this like giving it a little more motion and kill a little bit of that symmetry on the drawing, right? To give it a little more appealing to that. This is a really nice one. I really like this one. Be careful with the proportion here. This leg got really, really short. And when you're drawing dancers, most female dancers, let me watch the time. How am I doing? Oh,
Yeah,
I have
right now time's up in like a minute, let's say.
Okay. So when you're drawing dancers, try to stylize it more, even more than if you're drawing any kind of person, because they have long legs, they're pretty thin, long necks, and try not to shorten their legs because it looks funny. So okay, let me do just one quick look to this one. That it's a little more advanced. You're working about, this is Christopher Blatt. He's working with anatomy. Just little things. Try to go with your lines to help describe volume. This is great, but here I would go a little bit like this. Okay, just turning and going around the volume to create a little more volume here. Be careful with this. If you're coming like this and you're coming like this, you're creating your stopping force, right? So also think about the position of the forearm, which is really tricky, but think as a box for the final part of the forearm. So those are just quick little tips for you. I don't want to eat time for my friends. So, okay, we close this one. We'll keep going on the next critique session. So thanks everyone for sending drawings. We can be talking all day about these drawings, and I love doing this. So, okay, now I think it's Mike time. Thank you for sending your drawings. I hope this helps. Okay, Mike, your turn.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to try to get through everybody, right? So like, here we go. All right, let's see. Screen share, Photoshop. All right, folks. I'm going to try, like I said, to get through everyone. Let's see what we got. When you guys send your pictures in, as Diego was joking around before, please block out any nudity, just so we can stay live. All right, so here we go. This is Santiago's. I noticed that some people are from the site, so I'll call that out when I know that they're from the website. I think it's a good opportunity for the rest of you to see what they're doing, right? Let me grab a color here. So first of all, in the last few weeks, we've talked about what? We've talked about depth, right? We've talked about iteration, and we've talked about like line of action versus rhythm, right? The line of action was so abstract. So I'm going to try to bring those ideas back into today as much as I possibly can. Iteration, awesome, right? Great job, Santiago, that you're iterating here. And, you know, so you've drawn the image over and over again. I love the notes. I love that your notes are optimistic, meaning, you know, you're telling yourself things to do instead of what's wrong, right? So that all looks good. Now, when it comes to the forces of it, of her, what we want to do is pay attention to the torso first. So we always begin with like, is it an S or is it a C torso? And really try to clarify that and work that through. I can see you drawing through. It's great that you're going through the arms, right? I hope everyone can see that in Santiago's work, but you know, you can see that you're focusing on that torso and trying to make that happen. So that's very good. And I would say this is a C, right? So we have this high shoulder, we have the low shoulder, and this is what I call a bridge, right? And that's because she's sweeping from her shoulders, which are holding up her upper body, and she's hanging her body, right? Her body is suspending its way off to her pelvis, right? So, and then we have her other arm over here, right? And that's like coming down to about here, and then that's going down to the ground. So the suspension of this image is between her shoulders and her pelvis, right? And then everything here is about hanging, right? So the verb I want to think about here is the hanging, right? Let's see how you did there. My first suggestion to you, so all this looks pretty good. It looks like you got it. I just want you to be aware of the ideas my head goes through while I'm drawing. I would say at the stage you're at, to not get too involved in shapes yet. You're doing okay with them, but everyone tries to rush to create a completed drawing. And I think there's a lot of value in staying away from that for as long as possible and, loosening up and saying, oh, I just want to feel the flow of this and understand, how this model is doing this kind of thing, so you really understand how the connectivity actually occurs, right? You did okay. You got good shapes going on here. But like the lower leg, I don't know, feels a little glued on. It doesn't feel to me like it's really coming out of the body based on how how it works, right? And you're getting into shapes. This is probably one of the most important things, is you're getting into the shapes before you know form really well. So her torso feels very flat to me, because it feels like you got some shaping. Same with the arms. You got some shaping okay, but they get better informed when they're more three-dimensional. An example of this would be, when I get up to her shoulders, I want to be aware that the box of her shoulders is like this, right? So her neck is coming out of this space right here. So that may mean I might interpret how I draw the fluidity and the shapes slightly differently based on my understanding of um, how much form there actually is, right? So if you want to learn from us, my recommendation is force first, right? Get all the fluidity going, and then comes form, and then comes shape, right? And I think you're jumping ahead just a little quick. That's all. So I would say slow down. Go through those steps and try not to get too involved in shape too quickly. It's very common. I mean, everyone wants to jump to shape. Shape's great, right? It's really fun. But the challenge there is understanding that shape comes from form. Okay. All right. Thank you, Santiago. We have Seiya, who's on the website. So welcome. I'm glad you sent some of your work in. So this, you can see is someone who's on the site who's been there a couple of months now, from what I recall. We have iteration going on. All right, we've got 11 drawings here, which is awesome. And she's in basics, right? So we're working through force, form, and shape. I mean, we're working through force here first, and we've got a lot of torso iteration going on, right? A lot of upper body iteration going on. I love the use of the orange and the blue. You don't have to, you don't have to draw in the brand colors of force, but they mean something, right? I've purposely not only made them the color of the books and all, but they actually have meaning in the books, where orange is applied force and blue is directional, right? And I like that you did this. I like that you're thinking, okay, let me think about, the orange as the applied force in the back, right? There's also, just to go into how you're using this, there's a lot of applied force going on back here, which we can't see, unfortunately, right? And that you think about it a little spatially, right? So there is this force in her back, in his back. We have it going into the shoulder, and it's going into the close shoulder as well, right? In essence, in between the shoulders and her whole upper back, right, we have all of this like orange energy, which is applied force, right? So that's cool. I love what you're doing there. Let me see. You got front to back on one leg. I would say probably front to front on the other leg. What does that mean? Some of you might be like, what is he talking about? There's a lot of different templates for the legs. Typically, if the knee is here and the ankle is behind the knee, the force from the hip is going to come down the front of the thigh. And if it wants to go back to the heel, it's going to go around the front of the shin. And that pushes the ankle back and like grounds it down, right? So my suggestion with that back leg would be to come off of that thigh, come down the knee, and then go this way to push into the heel like that, and then really plant Michael's foot down, right? So the pressure is coming down this way, right? Versus in the back. Now, to go back to my leg note, if here's the knee and the ankle's in front, chances are it's going to be front of thigh, back of calf, and that really slides the foot forward, you see? Other than that, you're doing great. Looks awesome. Great line work. You're very clear. It feels fluid. You're connecting ideas. You may be able to maybe try to connect the ideas a little bit more and really glue the stuff together, but pretty good, pretty accurate. If anything, I would say maybe iterate a little bit more through experimentation, not just, doing the drawing over and over. And I would write notes next to these, not only for you, but for me as well. So I see what you're after. Like, why did you do number 8, 9, and 10? Why did you not stop at 7? Like, not really sure, right? It would help to call them out and say, oh, I'm going to try to fix the leg. I'm going to try front to back or back to front. I'm going to try to get more perspective, right? And just add those notes in the document, okay? All right, so yeah, I'm going to move on past this one, okay, just so I can get the other people in. I see that you sent a bunch of other ones, but it's good to see. I want the rest of you to see what's going on here. Looks really good. Right. I love, again, how you're iterating. I love your presentation of all of it. I could really feel the force in the back and in the shoulder on this one. That's the leading edge, right? It's very good. Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff going on. Don't be shy about when things are this neat. I have this sort of knee-jerk reaction myself to, don't worry about having to be neat, make sure that you're just trying to feel out the power, trying to feel out the forces. And through that, over time, you'll get neater. I just don't want to enforce neatness. We want clarity, but clarity through force, right? But not for the sake of, being too neat, right? So just be a little aware. It's hard to tell if you're super worried about that or not, but I'm just telling you, don't be worried about it, Okay, let's see. Thank you for sending your work in. We have Srika, right? I have 2 from Srika. Let's see, we have this one and this one. Cool. I love what you did here. We'll take a look at that too. How am I doing on time? I'm not doing well on time at all, actually. All right, so Srika, let's see. Line, right? First thing I would say here with line is try to stop the back and forth kind of thing, right? Try to be more clear, get a line from joint to joint in the shortest of distances, right? So hip to knee, boom, right? I consider 2 joints actually also to be like the rib cage and the pelvis. So this is a line, right? I want to at least try to get that long, right? And then maybe I get over here and I get down here, or I get across and I come up. If I can, at times, I'll try to even make this one long idea and really actually try to understand the whole thing. But that takes time and practice to get to that place. So at least try to get this idea. This is one idea, right? I want the stretching of the torso and I want it like pushing out the rib cage there. So lengthen the lines. These are better. You have some that I'm talking about in here, much better. So these are great. Try to focus more in that direction. I really want to talk about this. This is awesome. I love that, you must have been here for the other video on depth. Great job trying to play around with space, right? Here you got this foot here and this foot here. We have a really big, oops, you're mixing them actually. So here you have this foot to this foot. It's this one I'm looking at. You got a small foot here and a really big foot here. That's awesome, right? It looks like you're having a lot of fun with playing with space through size, right? Look at the one hand over here and this hand with the gun. It's fantastic, right? Longer lines here. Interestingly, these, I guess, are out of your imagination versus from reference. And it looks like when you're drawing from reference, you have a little bit more concern over your accuracy. So I think you're scratching more to get accurate, where your drawings from imagination are drawn more confidently. The lines are longer, more fluid. Yeah, interesting. I would recommend trying to bring those 2 worlds together. You want to get more information from the real world and understanding anatomy and force and everything, right? That's all the info you're going to bring in into imagination. And I would bring in your confidence from drawing from imagination into drawing from the figure, not feeling like you've got to make the perfect copy right off the bat. Iterate, right? Do it over and over again. That's going to help you get out of that mindset of concern, okay? All right, let me see if I can get something said for these last 2. Sydney and Victoria. Sydney, great job playing with space, right? Yeah, fun. Location here actually matters too, right? Because we have the head of the model up here and the feet down here. man, you can push even further, right? It's like, I like what you did. There's nothing wrong with what you did, right? But we might start like really small up here with the head and get these, get this shoe and this foot to come up here and get like really big, right? Something like that. I'm just cranking out some quick shapes for you to see, but you can see how this could really get played up, right? I'm thinking like small, medium, large, right? I'm going boom, 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 and I'm increasing size as I go through like every part of the body, okay? Keep your rhythms going, keep thinking about how it all connects. You're doing it. Just try not to be too scratchy about it, right? Try to get the flow and the line to represent the thinking that you're trying to present here. And in this shape, just watch that you're creating a little bit of that shape that's like this. It's kind of in between this and this, right? So, focus on flow first, right? Again, I know a lot of you want to get to shape. It makes it feel like you've got to finish drawing, but the best thing you guys can do, if I was you and I was sending in work to these free live sessions with all these instructors here, I would just try to follow the program, right? And the first step is rhythm, right? Try to follow rhythm, get through the body, keep sending that stuff in for the critiques every month. Like what you're seeing here, this is Victoria. Victoria is someone on our website. She's being mentored by me right now. I don't know if Victoria is here or not, but you can see this is where it begins, right? So we're showing you, here's the secret sauce, right? Look, guys, this is where everyone starts. You come to drawingforce.com. I have professionals that come to the website. We have total amateurs. It's like, hey, my first time drawing. I'm 26 years old and I want to learn how to draw. They're going through this pipe. How good you are will determine how fast you go through the stuff. Not how good, but everybody's mind is different, and some people's minds will pick up force more quickly. Some will pick up form more quickly, right? But this is the process, right? So we've got our reference. What's missing here is an analysis, a write-up, or the gravity guide, and then all the iteration that's going on here. So where Victoria is really shining in this particular example is just how much iteration is happening.
I don't want to be the bad guy, but your time is up.
Yeah, no, thank you. So, so this is, like I said, this is, I think, a good way for you guys to submit work to us. I think it was Josh had asked, like, hey, can we send in work if it's not forceful? Sure, you can do that, but be aware we're going to critique for the most part, really based on what we teach, right? Like I could talk about composition and design and all that other stuff if you sent in, let's say, a comic book page or something, right? But even there, it's going to be coming from a force perspective. And I love talking about design, but let's try to get a bunch of you at least ramped up in good drawing, okay? All right, guys, thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. And thank you for those of you that submitted some artwork in today. If you're on the site, thank you for sending in too. It's great to share with the audience here what you guys are up to and how successful you are being. And with that, I am going to send it over to Mritunjay. All right, Mritunjay, it's all yours.
So let me share the screen. Yeah, here we go. Hope you can see it.
Yep.
So let's go. Hello, people. Welcome in. Thanks for joining in, everybody. And first, let's jump right in. And first, we have Jamie. So Jamie sent in. So thank you, Jamie, for sending in the work. By the way, I actually was looking at your work, before the stream. I was like, yeah, this guy has, a quick, reaction to, when he's drawing. For example, you just plant this hand, on the floor, and you just got the scapula up, and I really like that reaction, that quick reaction. But try to connect, before you move into shape. So as many of our like friends speak today, that just be true to the force, right? So what you need to do is, first of all, you need to get the force done. You need to first of all figure out that how the figure is actually functioning. Okay, that if she's doing this, how it's like, how that force is going like to the down to the floor, and then how he's like pushing up. So yeah, that you need to connect, first of all, then understand the function, and then comes everything like form, shape, anatomy, and everything else. So I see that you are doing a lot of shape in here. For example, here got some shapes. Here we got some shapes, and yeah, like most of the time, yeah, here we got some shape. And by the way, I actually like that you're experimenting as well, because I can see it's like a little foreshortening. By the way, you made little mistakes there, but it's gonna be okay, you know. So just follow this. That first of all, you need to find how the figure functions, and then you just want to move on to everything else. Okay. So for example, let's see this one. Let's see this one. So first of all, what do you need to do? You need to move from the back, you know, to the abdomen. And by the way, yes, reference is so important. So all the people that I get in today has sent no reference. Okay, so you know that will be more easy for us to see the reference and then create the critiques, because we can find out what's actual forces in there. Okay, so
Yeah,
anyway,
censored reference.
yeah, but yeah, just censor them.
Yes.
Sending it. Anyways, so you wanna come from the back, to the abdomen. By the way, you can see like here will be a little squash because this side is a stretch. Okay, so that is the idea, that is what you want to work for. And now you can see that this is missing in here. Okay, so you just like got a line and then another line. By the way, that overlap is good, that rib cage falls over this area, but be more ideal, so yeah, yeah, this is a very forceful drawing. So yes, be be careful. Be careful more about the functionality of before going to anything else. Okay. So yeah, thanks for sending in, and some thanks for sending in. Now see Shahadil George. Okay, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Anyways, again, no reference. So yeah, reference is very important. People, when I was like doing anything, so reference is really the first step, that I have to conquer to be, really good. I mean, good at drawing, enhances my experience more if there's a good reference. Okay. For example, I choose a reference where the one is standing like really straight, I'm looking at from front. So, I won't be that excited to draw it close. Okay. So anyways, by the drawing, I can look that you have a good reference. So try sending in, next time that you send drawings. Anyways, again, I would say, yeah, somebody's asking in the chat about the tools, so, and I don't know, like, you want to get like to, if I want to say about tools sometime, because, this would work as well, tools don't matter at the beginning stages. Okay, it is more likely that when you go advanced, you may need it to improve more fast. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about this one. Again, I would say, George, be connect, be more ideaful about the function. Okay, you wanna feel that she's pushing in here and this is going there. Just like a reverse S that's being made up in here. Okay, and then you want to connect this all, because now you can see like you're falling into shape. By the way, I don't by the way, yeah, just good job on this. Like you got a straight and a curve and a straight in here, so that's good. But you can see that it's really flat in here, and the reason why it's not working because force isn't present there. Okay, so one of the illustrations that I want to mention everybody is something like this. This is force, and then comes like everything else, on the upper floors. So this is like form, this is like shape, and this is anatomy. Sorry if I'm skipping letters, but this is the illustration, and you can like put some arrows in here. So if this is missing, now guess what? This will all like float up, break down. So since like force isn't present here, so now you cannot build up, these all steps in that. And shape, look what shape is in third stage. So you got into shape before moving in force, and now look, it looks flat. So yeah, that is the thing you want to be careful about. And let's see. This reference have to like look it like that. Anyways, yeah, just connect more and try to define the torso, try to define your ideas more. Okay, just be flow enough, instead of doing this, I can see you doing that some here or here maybe. Don't do this, just do this. And this is not going to take your life up. Okay, it's not a risk of your life, it's just a drawing. So just be dirty, be merciful, but be ideal, so be messy. Just don't be afraid of drawing. Okay, and yes, thanks for sending in, and let's look at some of your other works pretty quick. Oh, by the way, why did you send me this? This is anyways. So this is Israel Tutu Brandpong. Hope I'm pronouncing it right. Anyways, so yeah, we talked about iteration in one of last streams. So good job on iterations. We got a lot of iterations. One thing I wanna tell you is that try different things in different iterations. Why we're doing iterations is because we want to explore the pose more. Okay, that for example, that what is wrong, so what is right and what is wrong. So you can like do purposely wrong in some of the iterations, that why right is right and why wrong is wrong. Okay, so now you can see that they're pretty much the same. You got this, and I think it's a C torso again, like send in the reference as I said. So I think this is C torso, like from the drawing I can pull this off. And this is something like this or this, whatever. So you do pretty much the same in every iteration. Okay, you trying to getting some form in there. Okay, that's good, but there's like no connection I can see right now. Okay, there's like little connection in some places. Let me zoom in. Like you can feel it a little bit here or maybe here, but it is less. Not everybody could just quickly point out, yeah, this is a really fluid drawing. Okay, so why it is not? Because you're not I don't know, you're being fearful a little. Okay, so you don't try to do that again. Yeah, and I like that you number them so we can tell that, yeah, what is the number of iteration. But since you're not experimenting with every iteration, so your hard work goes in vain here, because they're pretty much the same. Okay, and while you're doing iterations, just try to make a bigger drawing, or just point it out that, yeah, this is the iteration that I feel is the most correct to the reference. Okay, and yeah, so yeah, good work, and you're trying to get some form, but remember again, keep force into your mind, connect more and experiment more with every iteration. Okay, so yeah, thanks for sending in. Now it's Gabriel. Hello Gabriel, how are you? Again, no reference. And I'm really this everyone wants to everyone to send reference every. Okay,
Yeah. So main rule, send reference.
yeah, that's my like main tip for today.
Censored reference. Hey, I wanted to say something really quick about the last one.
Yeah.
There's a time to draw small and there's a time to draw large, and they both have different opportunities for all of you. When you draw small, it really gives you a chance to like figure things out. And when you draw big, it gives you a chance to really feel force because you're more physical. So I'd recommend for all of you, to play between those two spaces. These are a lot of smaller drawings on a bigger piece of paper. So this is like more of a mental activity for you right now than it is one of like physicality. So I'd recommend doing some of these drawings at the full sheet of that page as well. So you've got the opportunity to like really move your arm and your body around.
Yeah, because now you can see like he's like being really small, and now he has to like move his wrist around or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thanks for the tip.
Yep, sure.
Anyways, Gabriel, yeah, again, I can see like you have dare to like move into form. So yeah, cool. Like you're doing some form lines in here that is like flowing with the force. But now what? Again, like keep that illustration in mind. So where I said that this is force and that's form. So without force, form cannot get that three-dimensionality. Okay, and or I can say that without your mind understanding the connection between like body and the like full figure, you cannot like move into those 3D shapes, right? And because form is 3D, so yeah, I can see like a really good pose in here, force in here, and that's moving to arm, and that's really connecting from the back and going to the abdomen, and that's like flowing around and like moving to thigh, back of the calf, or something like this. By the way, yes, you wanna be aware of this one because force doesn't exist on the hamstring side, and this is the hamstring, so it won't be an outside inside outside. I can tell you without reference, so that would be probably front to front or front to back, okay, not outside inside outside.
You got about 1 or 2 more minutes, Mrityunjay.
Okay, yeah. Oh, so yeah. Again, I said, my general critiques for everybody is today, like send references, paste reference, then like do a lot of iterations and experiment with them, as much as you can, and do some small drawings and do some big drawings so you can like move your arm. Okay. So Gabriel, let's have a quick look here. Yeah. So I can see like you're doing some form studies as well, but again, you can see like there's like not a general proportion, and you can see that's not really connected. Now you can see like Tristan here, so you're not really clear about its an S or C, so try to figure out that. Okay, by the way, I love this, but that's again a shape thing. Okay, so yeah, by the way, good. I would say, yeah, just focus more on function. God, Gabriel, and the same. Yeah, let's have a look at Francisco really quick. So again, Francisco, definitely an iteration tip for you. Do more. Don't be just stick with one. Just do more. Okay, and I know you have done this and this, but there's no connection between them. Okay, so maybe it's like this and this. Again, general tip: connect more. Let's have this again. Don't move into shape and shading. We don't want to see in the beginning stages. Just connect more, do more iterations. That's like my general tip for everybody. Yeah. So yeah, some general tips. Anybody? That's my session. Yeah.
Thank
So
you very
I will
much.
hand it over to Master Stanley now.
Yes, thank you, Mrityunjay.
Yes. All right. Let's jump right into it. You guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is Samya. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. First of all, there are some great things going on here. Like the drawings are pretty good overall. I would say, first of all, to start with at the beginning, like Mrityunjay was pointing out, first of all is force. And I would say the reference has like a higher energy level than your drawings. I can see you were going a lot for visual accuracy, which is not bad, but I would say go beyond that into emotional accuracy. How does the drawing feel? These drawings are very like contour / shape based. But I would say give yourself a minute or a couple of seconds before you start to just be in awe of the figure's energy, and then start drawing that. Let's see, I would say start with a clear torso mass. It feels like your torso needs to be just slightly longer than what you drew it. But just loosen up, feel the flow of energy. And connect, like we have been talking about. So you really want to match, rather than trying to match the contours, I would say, first of all, aim to match the figure's energy level. Ask yourself, does the drawing feel as energetic and as lively as the reference that I'm looking at? And if not, then what needs to change? You need to You need to put more work into it, and there's where the iterations come into play. You know, you evaluate your drawings, you keep you formulate a plan for what you want to fix next, and you just keep working on it and working on it. And once you get like a good energetic basis, then you can continue building and sculpting on top of that. And I would say in terms of, so that's the first step, get the energy through the forces, seek the connections. And I would say also pay attention to overlaps. Like if we zoom in here, this is like really flat, even compared to the reference. Like even in the reference, I can see that the shoulder is overlapping the upper arm. So try to get those overlapping moments in here to give your drawing more depth. And this arm needs to be a bit more curved, like she's really leaning and supporting all her weight on this arm. So again, be more sensible or more sensitive to the figure's energy, you know, be in awe of it, admire it, and then go for it. And you need to stay loose and flowing in order to capture that. And of course, you can get to such a clean drawing like you did here, but that's for later. You know, I think the tendency is to jump into cleanup too soon, and cleanup comes at a later stage when you have figured things out. So I would say draw to analyze and understand and to capture the figure's energy, rather than just to get a clean drawing that will in a lot of cases end up being stiff and lifeless. All right, that's number one. Let's check this one. This is Marcus Jensen. Yeah, these are very good. It's fluid, and I can see you're going for the connections. One tip I would say here, and let me zoom in to check because maybe it's light. But I would say start with a clear torso mass, like close it off top and bottom, and really figure it out. Figure out how the torso mass works. And then once you have a clear torso mass, the clear functionality, in this case is a C curve because he's bending, go in there and fill it, start filling it with structure. You can use the center line. You can draw his rib cage in there, draw the hips, put the pelvis in there, and figure out how everything connects. You know, don't just like draw curves, which is good, it's a good start, but keep in mind that the figure is three-dimensional, so you need to consider the volumes also. But other than that, this is good. This is you're really on a good track. I can see that you're focusing on force and even a bit of form here and there. I would say just be clearer with especially the torso. Start out with a clear torso. It will make your life so much easier. Okay, that's Marcus. Let's see. Then we have Ritik. And this is an awesome reference. Lots of depth. And in light of that, I would say my impression here is that you were trying to copy the shapes. Again, like we have talked about today multiple times, shape comes after force and form. So I would say draw to figure things out, analyze more. You know, come in here and you can use like wrapping lines, zoom in a bit. You can use wrapping lines to get a sense of depth and structure, and again, you figure out where's the pelvis. You know, don't just copy the clothing. I would say figure out the body underneath first. And that's the challenge with clothed figures, because you really need to understand what's going on underneath, and then add the clothing on top. You know, because if you just try to copy the clothing without considering the body, how the body works underneath, the drawing will most likely end up not working. You just end up with a couple of shapes which don't really have a sense of connectivity and structure. So I would say, since you're working with a reference that is so perspective heavy, you really need to go in there and figure out the forms. And once you have that, then you can start adding the clothing on top, and you will end up with a drawing that is much more solid. Okay, next we have Leah. This drawing is there's some good things going on. Like, there's a sense of balance. Again, there's no reference, so it's hard telling what was actually going on. I wonder if the figure was like exerting more energy and like pulling the rope or something like that. In terms of drawing, the drawing itself, I would say again, draw to analyze. Start with a clear mask for the torso. Then figure things out, like figure out where's the center line. Get the structure of the pelvis in there. Then figure out how the legs fit into that. Think about all the weight that is on his foot, and on both feet in this case. So yeah, the drawing is it's on the right track. I would say, with the other artists we looked at, do more analysis, draw to understand more, draw to figure things out. Don't rob yourself of the opportunity to increase in understanding of how the human body works, you know. Because if you start copying contours and do shading, the drawing might end up looking nice, but you have to ask yourself, how much understanding did you walk away with after that, you know? And especially if you want to draw from imagination, work as a professional artist, you need to draw to analyze and understand, so you can bring that understanding to your personal work, you know. Because if you copy, then once you don't have anything to copy, what will you bring to your work? You know, what will you apply when you have to create from your imagination? Okay, that is Leah. Then we have Ridiman. How much time do I have? Let me check.
A couple of minutes.
I have 1 minute.
A couple of minutes. It's okay if we go over a minute or so.
Okay. Let's see. Here again, the line work is pretty fluid overall. I would say, I think we keep saying the same things over and over again, because all we do is evaluate the drawings for application of basics, you know. So don't jump too quickly into shape. First of all, find the forces, follow the path of force and how it creates rhythm. Start with a clear torso mass. Don't just copy contours. Just make sure you understand what's going on. like here, figure out the rib cage, you know, like you have details like breast and hair. Those things come later. First, you need the foundation, you know, it's like trying to hang up the curtains before the foundation of the house is finished, you know. So don't rush into shapes. Take your time to figure things out, how all of this is working. And it seems like this figure was like interacting with something. And I always tell students, if the figure is interacting with a prop or an object, include that, even if it's just a super rough sketch, but it's an important part of the storytelling. You know, you don't just want to draw floating figures. And the same with this one. Again, fluid lines, so it's on the right track. I would say more analysis. You know, what's going on with the torso? How is it working? You start with a clear torso mass. You start adding the structure in there. Figure out the box of the pelvis and how those legs fit into it.
Oh, sorry for disturbing, you know. Riddhiman
Mhm.
sent this over. I critiqued this one.
You did?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Cool.
So Riddhiman,
Double critique then.
penalty.
All right, guys, let's
Yeah.
wrap it up.
Yeah, indeed. So let's see, I just had one more here, which is Mia. And again, the same goes, like start again with a clear torso mass. And for standing poses, the legs are super important. They're like the pillars that are upholding this torso and the head and the arms. So figure out the rhythm of the legs to see how they work. You know, you can connect the feet with a straight line to check their placement in perspective and make sure the figure is balanced. And then you go to the arms, the neck and heads. Those are details. So yeah, I think that's it for today, right? We
Yes.
are right on time.
Yeah. Thank you, Swenley.
Yes, you're welcome. Let me stop the share.
Try to go to gallery view.
Austin.
Hey, there we all are. So in closing today, first of all, I want to say thank you for those of you that submitted work. We're all aware, all of us are aware that I think it takes courage on your part and trust. I would say a lot of trust on your part to send work in to us and to, you know, allow your work to go live and to have us sit here and critique it, right? So I appreciate your level of trust and courage on all that. One other thing I wanted to bring up, I don't normally try to advertise the website or anything, but I want you to be aware that, you know, we all do mentor at drawingforest.com. So if you like what you're seeing here, you know, go check out the website, check out mentorship. And if not mentorship, there's premium packages and there's a forum there where all these guys we've been teaching you today, Diego, Swenley, and Mrityunjay, they're on there almost on a daily basis. You know, supporting a huge community of Force students, right? So you would get more of what you're seeing and hearing now in that forum, right? So daily feedback, right? It's a pretty rare thing to get. And I think that's really the way to learn. It's not just by you sitting and watching videos of us like today, it's about you going and actually doing the work. When you have a forum with the feedback, you'll learn a lot faster. So check out drawingforest.com. Thank you guys in our Brady Bunch style ending here. And I will see all of you next Friday. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Yes,
Guys.
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.